So hello. Okay, I got it. Okay, cool. Recording has begun. Cool. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the day 2 of the Android event that we are organizing in collaboration with Sri Sai Ram Engineering College and Sri Sai Ram Institute of Technology. And the DSC leads of these colleges are Swatika and Magesh Sundar. And I'm Ravisha Sharma. I am the DSC lead of Baktiarpur College of Engineering. Today, we have Vigneshwaran with us, who is going to help us go through the hands-on experience with Android development using Kotlin. So thank you so much, Vigneshwaran, for joining in today. And without much ado, I'm going to pass the panel to you so that you can carry on with the session. So over to you, Vigneshwaran. Okay, before that, I forgot introducing you. So Vigneshwaran is an app developer and is currently working as a senior software engineer at NIUM, which is a fintech company. So yeah, that was a short introduction. He has done a lot of things, but I think we are short of time and introducing him will take a long time. So I guess Vigneshwaran should carry on with the session.
Sure. Thank you, Ravisha, and thanks for everyone who joined here. And yeah, I'm happy to do this today. And I heard like yesterday you guys had a bit of introduction in Kotlin and a few things about learning Android, but today we'll be getting into directly into development, how Android evolved and how we want to develop it. And I hope like I've structured the session in a way that end of the session today and tomorrow, I think you guys will be like a bit more confident about developing Android apps. And I hope like everybody should complete the assignments that whatever has been given to you. And sure, let's get on to it. And so a bit of introduction about me, like I'll not take much more time here, like a minute of time. So I have like 6 years of experience in building Android apps. I built apps like DBS, Digibank, and Citibank app. I think many of you would have used this DBS, Digibank app. And I built SDKs and libraries for fintech companies. And one of the main thing which I'm proud of is like I've adopted micro front-end architecture wherever the apps which I built. And like I started my career, I studied in Sai Ram Engineering College, and I was 2015 batch. And after completion, when I joined TCS, like I worked on variety of techs. Like I worked on Angular, I worked on Spring Boot, I worked on Apache Solar, which is a search engine. I worked on Alexa. So when I worked on variety of stuffs, like I wanted to, sit on one particular technology and develop it from there. So I studied Android myself, and I completed AAD certification 5 years back. And from that onwards, like I've been completely working on Android. I worked on cross-platform, I worked on hybrid, and like past 5 years, I've been into native completely. And currently I have a hobby of building cryptocurrencies and NFTs in blockchain. So this was my quick introduction. And this is my agenda for today and tomorrow. So I'll start off with Kotlin Basics and build a small program in Kotlin. And we are going to apply the same program in our app and build a Android app around it. And that was like building rolling dice app. And after that, we will jump into building another app using layouts, using a tip calculator app, and enhance the UI UX using material design. And probably if we have time today, we will conclude our session with recycler view. If not, we'll start with recycler view tomorrow. And also tomorrow we'll have a jam-packed session with navigation view models, because it's a very important topic and it's kind of very big. Sure. And this is a simple Android stat. Like why I'm saying this, because you guys have options. Like now you are studying in college, you guys have options like to go as a full stack developer or a backend developer or a AI developer or machine learning expert or whatever it is. So whatever you guys want to achieve, that's all your choice. But this Android status is very important because like right now, as of April 21, 72% of market share is owned by Android operating system. It is more than Windows has ever been. So right now, the world most used operating system is Android. It's above Windows. It's not only with iOS and Android. It's not competing with iOS. It's competing with Windows also. So the reason is you see the smartphones, your POS machines, like the point. I think people raising hands, is it? Or they wrongly doing it? Okay. Sure. If you have any questions, I think you guys can post it in chat or something. Maybe we'll circle back around and explain that. And you see, Android is used in point of sale machines and IoT devices. Point of sale machines, the cards that you swipe, tap and pay, everything is nowadays moved to Android phones, smartphones is included in it. So if you see the stats, if you become an Android developer right now, when you finish your college, there is a high chance like future is going to be full of Android OS and Android OS enhanced. So you will be working on, you will be needed a lot. So there is a sure chance like you will be get into a good reputed organization and work there when you have rather than other departments like AI, machine learning and all. So of course they are also future proof, but I feel like Android developers are much more needed in future. The scale is going to be high, and the important part of Android is like Android is open source. So the point of open source is like Android is something called AOSP, Android Open Source Project. If you go inside that, whatever the program that is running in your Android phones, right? Like you see settings page, and when you click on settings, what happens when you have Bluetooth, you have hardwares, you have camera. What are the code that is happening inside it? You could able to download it and see the code. That is the beauty of Android. So like tomorrow you want to become an Android, you could contribute to it, right? You could download the repo and become a participant, and you can contribute something to Android open source project, and your code runs in across all Android OSs running in each smartphone devices. That's a great thing, right? You go inside, you can see the kernel code, what is written. I think this part makes Android scalable across all over the world, and it is running on top of Linux OS. So obviously you'll see lots of kernel code and Linux codes. So that is the beauty of Android. And this Android open source project is what Google is releasing every year. Android 11, Android 12, and the manufacturers, like they call them as OEMs. These manufacturers like Samsung, OnePlus, they are using this Android OS code, and they write on top of it because they expose some of the APIs and they write on top of it and they deliver it to us, right? And that is a good thing to know about an Android. And jumping to Kotlin. So before I say like Kotlin was adopted like 4 years back in Android. When I started my career, there was not Kotlin. I think there was some beta versions going on, but nobody heard of Kotlin. And we started working in Android using Java. Then like until like 2 years back, I was working in Java in Android. But later Kotlin stable version released. Then from that onwards, I've also started using Kotlin. The reason is Kotlin is like concise. So I think you guys are like from CS IT background, right? In your college, you might have started learning Python. During my times, we used to learn C++ and some part of Java, but now it's full of Python, is it? So when you guys learn from Python, you will easily attach towards yourself with Kotlin. But rather, if you see Java, it's like too much of verbose and too much of code that needs to be written for simple things to do. But Kotlin, why Kotlin is like Kotlin is used. You see, I will explain like why Kotlin is required. Say, if you see the Kotlin code, it's very, very concise. It's very small. Of course, you might not have seen Java. If you have seen it, then you will understand this, how concise it is, and it is safe. Safe, how it is safe, I will explain that during the session. And expressive, interoperable, interoperable in the sense like Kotlin runs on JVM. So if you know what is virtual machine, what is JVM, Java virtual machine, Android runs on DVM, Dalvik virtual machine. So if you understand that, you will know that. So what is virtual machine, right? Java exports the virtual machine, and each devices wherever Java is running, there will be a Java virtual machine running on it. So that's what makes Java platform independent. Right. So when Kotlin is interoperable, when we say Kotlin is interoperable, Kotlin runs on JVM. Kotlin does not have its own VM because JVM is across all devices, but making all users to download Kotlin virtual machine is not possible. So they have built it like such a way that Kotlin code runs over a JVM also, which is possible. That's why Java APIs also can be used by Kotlin. So even in same file of Kotlin, you could write Java code as well as JavaScript code as well as Kotlin code. That's why they say it as interoperable. Lots of Android APIs are written in Java. So it is it is absolutely making sense to use Kotlin as Kotlin interoperable with Java. That's how you use Kotlin along with Android. And it's multi-platform. If you know KMM, Kotlin multi-platform, if you learn Kotlin, you could build iOS apps as well and Android apps as well, and with a single code base. That is completely possible. I think Kotlin multi-platform launched the stable version. I don't think so. It's stable version release. It's still in beta, I think. If the stable version is released, then you can very well learn Kotlin and directly jump into building Android and iOS apps with same code. That is super cool thing. That's why I feel like you guys have to start learning Kotlin much more faster than any other programming language like Python. Yeah, so it supports multi-platform and support in Android and Jetpack libraries, right? We'll start with Kotlin basics. Like before that, I want you guys to join the Slido and just answer me a few questions. Like I just have only one question so asked so far. So I want you guys to answer it so that based on this question, I will conduct my session accordingly. Just I want you guys to answer like what is your current programming knowledge? Like, do you know you can write a program, or you know only basic concepts like oops, or you don't know anything in program? You can feel free to write anything so that I will conduct my section accordingly. Yeah, I just give you some a minute of time. Join a Slido with this code like 804778. Even if you don't know programming, you can very well tell because it's anonymous, nobody knows. Okay. So I think many people, I think it's like People know OOPS concept, people can write program, and very few don't know anything in programming. That's not a problem. I will make sure like all of these guys are covered, can able to write program something in Kotlin after this session. So, and I will also make sure like I do not bore you guys with explaining each and small stuffs, because many of you guys can able to write a program, right? Fine, like jumping to the session. So okay, so I want you guys to open Kotlin Playground. You can search like Kotlin Playground, the first link that comes, just open it and start writing along with me so I can explain you. And Kotlin Playground is an online compiler which compiles your code and gives you the output. And you can also share the code. You can write a small snippet and share the code with someone else also. Okay, so Kotlin, right? It's concise. The people say the program starts running with main function. Whatever you type under it, it starts running it. If you write many code below that also, it will execute, but it will not do anything. But the code under main will start executing and compiling and start executing and displaying your output. So maybe I will start explaining variables. So Kotlin have something called val name string. So if you see, variable can be declared like this. Val is a keyword which says like this value is final. The final means like you are assigning something to it which you cannot change it after that. Say you want to change it with something else, uh, uh, the compiler will throw an error to you saying it is not possible. You run it, val cannot be reassigned. So that is the idea of val. If you want to declare constants and things like you do not want to change it later, you can declare it with val. And there's another thing is called name var. So you see, var can be changed. Like I can change it to something else also. And I do print into, you see the value has been changed. That's the difference between var and var. And Kotlin is, you see Kotlin is type inference. When I say type inference, this is considered as strings, right? What is strings? Strings are like a array of characters, right? When I remove this, Kotlin understands that it is string and it will not ask me to declare it. Unlike Java, Java asks you to declare the variable. Kotlin understands the type inference. So the type of this variable is string. So from now onwards, from this point onwards, this name will be string. You cannot change it with something else. And it is statically typed. When I say statically typed, unlike uh, uh, unlike the other programming languages like Python, JavaScript, you can change, you can create a variable and change the variable with something else, right? Like you can create a variable and change the value with the object. You can change it with number. You can change it with anything, but that is not possible with Kotlin. That happens during runtime, but Kotlin makes it during compile time itself. All the variables should be directly typed. All the variables should have a type defined in the compile time itself, so that the number of issues arising towards in the after deployment, after the code is shipped, can be avoided. Unlike in Python and JavaScript, where you can, or the type of the variable is defined during runtime. So number of crashes, app not working properly, all the bugs will happen during the runtime when the code is shipped to the client, to the people. So that is the advantage. Also, it has some disadvantages on its own, but for development purpose, it is very advantage. And the other thing is like functions. You want to declare a function in Kotlin, right? You have to put a keyword like function fun, and you have to name it like you can put any name you want, right? And you have to close it like this, and with curly brace you have to do like what you want to do with it, like println, right? So now you've written a function, you want to call it, you can simply add it here and you run it, it will execute it. So since I put like print and then println is printing it adjacent, ln will make it print it in next line. Yeah. So and the other thing is like you can pass parameter, you can put a return type. So for example, I'm returning a string. If you put colon and put a data type, that means like this function has to return something. This function is going to return a string. So you have to return and you put println here. It is returning the text. So this code is bit cumbersome, right? You can make it even more smaller by writing it like this. You don't have to make it single line also. Yeah, it still runs. And the one of the main good thing about Kotlin, which I feel, is Kotlin extensions. So I will explain what is extension. So this string is something like a data type, right? Like this data type is custom data type, which is created by Kotlin, and you cannot modify this class because it comes with compiler. You cannot add functions to it. But what you can do, you can extend this class and write a function for your own. Say I say string dot write Vignesh. It return string, and what I do this plus. So I wrote a function, right? String dot write Vignesh, and it has a return type string. And what this refers like this string instance, and this plus Vignesh. When I do this, and here whatever variable that I've created, say I've written Vignesh 2, is it? So I rename it with and put right. You see here, this is a data type of string. So this does not have this function at all, but we have created this function within this compiler region, and we are using this function. So this is called extension function. So you can write extension functions to any class which you do not have control. String class is not your class which you have created, right? But you can write extension functions to it, which will be very useful to write utility functions and functions that you use, like which you common use by yourself. These are all functions that you can use and attach to it. And from now onwards, all the string data types, like this is also a string, right? I think here also you can able to do it. Say, yeah, you see, this is also creating a function for you. So this is a powerful tool which I think you guys will use it more, because I am currently using it more and more. I write more if I do some of the manipulation, string manipulation or like class manipulation more, I'll start writing extension function to it and write it once and start using it rather than repeating the code myself. A concept of dry, don't repeat yourself. Yes. And conditional, yeah, null safety, that is some main important thing that is very, very good in Kotlin. Say, for example, you are creating a variable, say where name, where data is a variable here, equals text of string equals. Okay, so this variable you're creating, you do not know what this variable will hold. Say, for example, you're creating a model class for something like you're going to fetch from API, a public API, a weather API, or any API of sort, which you do not have any control. So that API can return null, can return empty, can return any type of data that you do not know. So you do not have control. What will happen in programming languages like Java, right? You have something called string alone. When you put string, if you put null, then it becomes like this. Without knowingly in your code base, right? What you will do, something like this. You will write println text dot length. For example, you have written something like this. Your compiler would have allowed you, in other programming languages, compiler would have allowed you to compile it and run it and push it. So you will know for sure this have some value to it. But unfortunate situation, in one time there was a null value comes here. You are accessing dot operator here, right? It will directly throw null pointer exception. Your app crashes. So you're going to build Android app, and you, without knowingly, you thought the data will come for sure for this variable, and you're checking text dot length, and based on length you're doing something. Then if the value comes null from the API, from the remote server or anything, if the value becomes null, this line of code, piece of code will throw null pointer exception. Any exception that happens in Android code will crash your app crashes. That is the most dangerous thing that you do not want any of your users to face it. If any users who sees more number of crashes in your app, they will not use your app at all. So the main thing is you should avoid crashes. The majority of crashes happens with null pointer exception. So to avoid this null pointer exception, Kotlin has something called optionals. So you have to put a question mark to this variable. When you do that, even though null comes here, the code compiler will not allow you to execute this line. Say, if I put this, it will say you have used optional here, but you have directly used it, which is not correct. So what you have to do, you have to put a question mark to it and access it, right? So since it does not crash it, right? Now this line of code itself will not execute if the value becomes null. So that way you have avoided null pointer exception. This is very, very, very important thing that you start using when you start using developing Android app. You have to use this optionals very much. and use null safety checks whenever you're using it. Or you can wrap it around, say, text dot let, right? If it is not null, then print this, something like that you can write, so that your code has become more safe. It will not throw the crash at all. And this is very, very important, because Android phones, mobile phones like Android and iOS have something called life cycle attached to it. Your app can go to background, your app can comes to foreground, your app can, your Android OS can kill your app if it needs more memory. So these things all will happen. When it happens, there is a possibility like these variables can become null. When it becomes null, your app shouldn't crash. So that's why you need to handle this null safety. And this is one of the important feature in Kotlin. And conditional and functions, yeah, class and properties. And yeah, so the next thing is we are going to create a program in Kotlin, something called creating a rolling dice program. So what is it is, rolling dice, right? Say, when you roll a dice, what number it comes, that program we are going to build something like this, right? I'll show you. So we are going to build an app. When you tap on roll, it will show you the number, random number that you want to show. So you can use this app for, like, if you do not, of course we do not take rolling dice with us always, right? If you want to do something like that, you can use this app and roll it. And for that, like, we are going to write a program to it. And sure, like, we'll start jump into it directly. So before writing that, you need to know what are classes and properties. So rolling a dice, right? Dice is something, a entity or a subject around that we are building your program, right? Dice should be a class where you can simply write all the logic here, roll a dice. But if you want to modify the dice, say right now today you have like dice of 6 numbers or 4 numbers, that is not possible if you write all the program in main. So you have to create a class and assign a properties to it. Say I am creating a class dice, right? Sure. And dice have like val numbers, total numbers. You can simply say 6. This is 6. And there is a function for, so your dice is a class, like it's an entity. And what is the purpose of your dice? Your dice want to do something, right? What the dice does is it rolls. So your class is something which describes your object, which is a dice. And what dice does is your functions. So your dice, what it does is like it rolls. So you have to create a function called roll. And inside the roll, we are going to, roll and return a number. So your roll function will have a return type of string. And we are going to return number starting from 1 to 6, because your total numbers are 6. So what ideally we do is like, from 1 to 6 we have to generate a random number. How do we do that? Is something Kotlin have something cool way of describing it. We can simply say total numbers, and it has an inbuilt function called random. So you see here, I am doing is from starting from 1, and this is a continuous operator. So from 1 to total number 6, I'm generating a random number. So your random number will generate between these two values. This is a lower limit and this is the upper limit. So from your main function, what you ideally have to do is dice dot roll yeah. Yeah, so toString is required. So this returns, oh sorry, this returns int. Here we need to put toString. You see, every time you run, it generates some random number between these numbers. And what is this toString does? Like this value is int, right? A data type of int. In Kotlin, the integer type is int with capital I. So this data type Kotlin, as I said earlier, Kotlin have type inference, so you don't have to put specifically int required, and you are converting that into toString and you're printing it here. Now, what if we have like multiple? Here we hard coded the total numbers, right? Total numbers are 6, but tomorrow we have like dice of 4, dice of 20, dice of 30. We don't need to hard code it, so we can remove it and we can pass as a parameter function here, or we can pass it as constructor. So what is constructor? Constructor is when you initialize a class, what variable that you're passing will be part of the class. So what you're ideally doing is your class, what are the properties, what are the structures that your class should have, you are defining beforehand. So those are all constructors. Well, total numbers. Yeah. Now, here you need to declare the total number 6. Total numbers. You can create multiple numbers with, like, say now 7. 100, 200. Yeah. So if you want to have dice of like 200 numbers, you can do that with this way. So I think this is a simple program, very, very simple. It's something similar to odd or even program, which we obviously start while writing any programming language. So this code, we are going to implement it here and make sure like when you tap on roll, corresponding values generated, right? And for this, like I want you guys to open Android Studio. So I think we have like 10 to 15 minutes before that we'll complete this. And all you guys need to open Android Studio. This is ARM version, so it will be like super fast. I heard like you guys had concerns like why can't we use Visual Studio Code for development? It is possible. You can run Android through command prompt also. You can build Android from anything. All you need is platform tools, SDK tools, and ADB. These 3 things all required, nothing else. So you can do from anywhere. But if you use Android Studio, you will never go back and use it anywhere. Your code runs on server, Jenkins server with pipeline, CI/CD and all. Your code runs through terminal. You can build Android through terminal also without any IDE. But when I tell you how useful your Android Studio is in terms of code completion, code, how your code can help you, code completion, code visualization, all these stuffs, you will never go back and start using it anywhere. Of course, RAM issues will be there because it consumes lots of RAM. And if you run emulators, that's it. Like your computer will go like shit, like it stops. But I think that will be worth it if you start using Android Studio. This is ARM version, like with the Mac M1, it will run very fast, but that will not happen with you guys. I think you guys have to simply bear with it. And yeah, so when you create a new project in Android, you'll be first asked with the templates, which is pre-available already. I would suggest to start with empty activity, empty compose activity. Compose is the feature of Android. I think after this section, or like when you guys have free time, just look over compose, because I've started using compose in my projects wherever I'm working. It's the feature. It's like complete restructuring of Android. But for this session and for this course and all, we'll stick with normal XML layouts. We move here and we name like roller dice. This is your app name. This is your app name, and this is the package name. Package name should be unique. This is what identifies your app in Play Store as well as any of the devices. This should be unique, otherwise you cannot upload your app to Play Store. That's why they will tell to create it with the domain name, because domain names will always be unique for anyone. So, and the location is fine. And the programming language is Kotlin. And this is very important, like what is the minimum SDK level? If you click help me choose here, you will see the number of devices distributed along the world. So you want your minimum SDK version as Nougat, you will be covered like 89% of devices. Any OS below Nougat, like Android 6 and all, will not be able to install your app, right? So we will use with Oreo, and you click on finish. It gives you the basic code with boilerplate function, boilerplate activity. This is an empty activity. And your project starts building and downloading the dependencies it needs. Now, in this meantime, right, you guys want to run your app in Emulator or your actual devices. When you want to run your Android app in actual devices, right, what you guys need to do, there is a setting that you need to do it your phone. I will tell you what it is. Probably I'll show it here. Okay, it's not starting. Let's see if it has anything in this. So meantime, it downloads all your dependencies and set it up. While by the time you take your devices, your actual device, not emulator, and you go to settings. When you go to settings and you sign like about device, right, you will find something called device build number. When you see this build number, tap it like 5 times. You will see something like you are one step away from developer. When you tap it, you have to go to settings and find about phone, about device or something. It based on different phones have different thing, and you have to tap build number 5 times. When you tap it 5 times, you will see a new option here called developer options. That will be under systems, developer options. Okay, when you go inside developer option, you will see something called USB debugging. you have to enable it. So when you enable it, then only you connect your phone through USB and your phone will get detected here. Right now, my other phone, my personal phone is detected here OnePlus because I've enabled it. So same thing, I think you guys have to also do. I will tell you what it is again. You go to about phone, you see build number and tap it 5 times. Once you tap it 5 times, then you come out and go to setting system and you go to developer options and you have to enable USB debugging here. Then you can see your device here and start running your app to your device directly, because emulator will consume lots of memory in your laptop, especially in Windows. For this course, like I will take it in emulator, but if you guys do not have options, any other options, like you do not have actual device also, then I will show you how to create an emulator also. You go in your Android Studio, there is something called tools. You go to AVD manager under tools and you see create virtual device. Then you find like you select like any device as per your choice. Then you go next and you have to download the system image. System image is like same version of your app, directly download it. Once this will be like in GBs, it will be like 1.2 GB, 1.3 GB. So download it whenever you have free time. I think if you download it now, it will take hours of time for you if you have low bandwidth. And once downloaded, you will see your virtual machine here and you will see the emulator. So if I run this app, you will see the app starts building and runs it in the emulator. So now coming to our app, we are going to build our app like this, right? So what we will do is I will explain you what is this activity and what it does and all in further period of time, like in tomorrow or something. But right now we'll stick on to building this, right? It is now installing it and launching the activity. You will see the first thing is roller dice, which we have already named the name of the app which we have given. You see our app is here, roller dice, and it is printing hello world. What is this hello world? How do we see? In our main activity file, the project structure is this. Inside this, you will see main activity. In your main activity file, you will see something called set content view. Inside that, layout is activity main. And you press control or command. Control for Windows and command for Mac. You go inside this, you will see this layout, right? So this is the layout design that we want to do. This you cannot do it in Visual Studio Code because you can build your layout without running anything by just seeing it. It is a live editor. Whatever we are changing will reflect it here. Right now, we do not want to see the XML part. We'll stick on with the design part alone. Then we will move on to I will start explaining XML part in layout section. So now you have this text like hello world. This is what is displayed here. I will remove it. Delete. Remove the text view. Now, what is the UI that is given is we should have a button and we should have a image. Okay. So what do we need to do? You go on the left side pane, you see a palette here. There will be a button here. You drag it and put it here, right? You can paste it in center. That's it. You might think that is it, but this is not enough because you put a button here, but you have not constrained it. Constrained it like you have not attached it. You attach this button to anything. So what will happen is if your device, if this app runs on tablet or something or any device, it does not know where to go. So when you run this app, it will just simply go at the left pane. So you have to constrain it with something. So what we are ideally doing is just attach it with something to left side and right side and make a constraint and drag it so that it places in the bottom. Now we have created a button and you have to place the image view. This is an image and there is a URL. I will also give you this URL to you guys in chat. I ping this URL in chat. I ask you guys to go there and download it. I will also download it. This will have all the images. An Android Studio. And you go here. All the images will reside somewhere in resources. So now this is your Android project structure, right? You have manifest. Android manifest is the file where we declare what are all the activities that we have. It is a map of your entire, it is a contract of your app. Like it is the first part that your app runs. And you have a Java code where you write your classes, and you have a resource folder and drawable. This is where you need to put all your images, and layouts will go. Layout is like we created this layout, right? That goes inside this layout, and we have strings, colors, and themes. So for now, we have to go to drawable, and we have to create image asset. Yeah. Now we can drag it, or like we can simply drag it and put it here. You simply drag it here and you click refactor. All the images will be added here, right? Now you've added all the images. Now you go to your activity and you return this program, right? This class you copy it and you come here and paste it here. You create a class here called dice, new Kotlin class file, dice, and paste it here, right? Now you come to your main activity, and what you have to do is you have created this XML layout, and now you have created a button. Now you have to put a image view, because we have to put our dice image here, right? What we have to do is we have to drag a image view and paste it here. Now the image source will be this. It is big, and for that we have to go here and constrain it. Now that you have constrained all four sides of your image view and a button view, and you can remove this, delete this constraint, and you can attach it with okay, let it be here itself. And this button you have created, and you can change this button attribute text through code as well as here. probably we will search like text. Right here, there is a search button here. You go here and you select a view first, and you go here in attributes and start searching text. Now you see a text here and change it to role. You have changed that to role. The text has been changed. And what you have to do is, for this button, you have to give a ID. You search with ID, and there is a ID here, and say role button, right? And for this image, to refactor. And for this image view, you have to go here and change it to dice image and click refactor, because you have already IDs were already created and it was accessed before. So that's why like we have to change it. Now that we have created these two and we have come to the code XML part, you will see this code is already generated for you. This will say where the constraints, like where it should be and what it is attached to it, and what is the ID of it. Dice image we have created, role button ID we created, and it is put on constraint layout, right? So now we will come to the main activity, and you see there is a piece of code that we have tried, which is dice to create an instance of it. Dice this, we create a variable, say private val dice of type dice equals dice of total numbers of 6, right? Now we have created it, and dice dot roll. Now we shouldn't roll it every time, right? We should roll it not when it launches, right? We should roll only when the button is clicked. Now I have to get the button object and put a click listener to it. So how do I do that? Like there is in your activity, you have something called this function like find view by ID, and it's a button, right? Like you can simply put a type of button. R is a resource IDs, the IDs that you created in your XML, right? This will get already added to your R class. So you can put simply say r dot id dot role button. This is the ID that we have generated. Now that it has become a button, you can simply say val role equals. Now this will do is like it identifies this role button and assigns that object to it. Now this role button, with this role button object, we can find something called on click set on click listener, right? You find like two on click listener. One is like you have to create a view object to it, or another one is lambda. So we can use any of them, but for simplicity we can start using the second one, which is lambda. So what it does is when a button is clicked, it will run the code inside this braces. So what when a button is clicked, what we ideally need to do is roll it, right? Dice dot roll. Now that you have rolled it, roll will return some value, right? Say val number. Dice returns in string. We have to change it with int so that we can match it with right number. We changed it with int, and you go to main activity, and it has become an int. So what we need to do, we have like 6 images, right? Which number we want. What we have to change the image during runtime. When you click on role, we have to change the image to something else. How do we do that? There is something called when expression. So first we need to find the image ID. How do we find the image ID from that? Is again we have to use find view by ID, image view r.id dot we have put like dice image, right? Now this is the image. Dice image. Right now from this dice image, what we need to do, we have to refactor the image source. Source image set image source image source, and we have to say it like r.draw. So now the images lies in drawable folder, right? We have to put r.drawable dot dice. But our based on the number only we have to put it, right? So what we need to do is like we have to create a variable with id image id equals when number matches with one dot drawable dot dice one. And necessary else match. Okay. Okay. 2.2 equals r dot drawable dot is 2. Now like that we need to put for all 6. We have reached 6. 3, 4, 5. And we have to put the else part also. Else -1. Right. So the number does not fall in any of the category. We have to put else. So now we have to check. We shouldn't put else here, right? I mean -1 here, right? If image ID not equal to -1, right? We have to put dice with image ID. Okay. So let's run this app. What we have done is we got the role button object and button dot set on click listener we have written, which means like whenever you tap the button, on click listener will be called and this piece of code will get called. Inside this piece of code, what we have written, we found the image ID and whatever the number that we got, we have altered the image of it. And if it's not -1, we will not set anything. So when you click on role, the number generated was 3. So that's why you see the third one. And again, you click on role, you'll see the 1. And like that, you can modify the image, right? If you increase it and if any other number comes, it will not change it. So cool. Like I've taken like 15 minutes more of your break time, like sure. And yeah, you guys can have a break, and after 15 minutes we'll again continue the part where like where we can build this particular layout. Yeah, if I'm being slow or if I'm being too fast, just ping me in chat so that I'll get to know like whether I'm going too fast or too slow, or is it okay, anything is fine. Yeah, so Mukund, like you can take 15 minutes break now, right?
We'll be having a fun session now, so as a break so I guess we can conduct it now.
Sure, Cool. Then
So
after like 7:30, I will join again.
yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So Mukund, should I carry forward with the quiz?
Yeah, I guess start. Yeah.
I think, yeah, okay, he stopped sharing. Cool. So guys, we're going to have like a short quiz, and the quiz will have questions related to what we learned in these 2 days, like 1.5 day. Yesterday we had a session, and today we are almost halfway through the session. So we're going to ask you very easy and interesting questions of whatever we learned up till now about the basics of Android development in Kotlin. So I would encourage you all to go to slido.com. I'm just going to present my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Risha.
Yes,
Okay.
Ravisha, it's visible.
Let me minimize the extra windows.
Participants, I have sent the link, and Swatika has sent the name, number there. So I guess you can join the Slido there.
So, okay, 1 second. So you need to go to slido.com and you need to type in this code 776386. And let me know if you face any issues. So as I can see, people are joining in.
Guys, kindly name yourself, because it will be easier for us to share the links for the winners. Winners
Yeah.
will be getting swag, so anonymous, and like add your full name. We have to send you the swag, so help us out in this. If you want the swags, if you win, if you want the swags, please type in your correct name.
We'll be waiting for you all for around 1.5 minutes or 2, and then we'll be starting the quiz. So join as soon as you can.
Yes, Rahul, you have any doubt?
क्या हूँ चूतियों के
Okay, how many are there in the meeting?
So there are
60. Okay, and the number of people, those have joined are very few. It's just 35. There are still 25 to go. So I think you all should participate, guys. Like winning and not winning is a secondary thing, but at least you all should participate. No wonder you can get those swags. We'll wait for another 1 minute and then we'll start.
What about the rest 20 people who are in the meet? It's going to be fun, so don't miss it. Just join.
Are you facing any issues, the rest of you who are not joining? So there are 58 people in the meeting. Either you're not listening to us or you don't want to participate. Should we begin, Swatika, Mukund? We have 40 people.
Yeah, we'll start. The rest of them will join in the middle. Like,
Yeah, okay. So I'll be starting the quiz. Your eyes should be on your screens so that you don't miss on, like, okay, let me just clarify. The quicker you answer, the better your rank will be. So make sure you read the question as fast as you can and you answer it as quickly as possible. Because even if you give the correct answer, the one who was given before you will be ranked in a better position. So all the best to everyone, and let's see who leads the leaderboard. Okay, here's the first question. And this is one of the easiest ones that we discussed yesterday. What is the official language for Android development? Kotlin, Java, Python, and C++. Okay. So 84% of you have given the correct answer, and it's Kotlin. Let's move forward. Okay, let's look at the leaderboard, and it is, we have Harish on the top, congratulations. And then we have Subinesh, and then we have Varsha. Okay, Arun. Cool. Let's move forward. Who is the creator of Kotlin?
guys, think before answering this one.
Yeah, please think before answering. It was discussed in yesterday's session, so if you were attentive, you'll be able to answer this correctly. Okay, so 65% of the people were listening correctly. And yeah, that's the correct answer. JetBrains is the correct answer. Let's look at the leaderboard now. Okay, Harish is leading again, and we have Varsha, then Dharun, Shriram, and then Arun. Okay, Shriram is a new one, I think, in the leaderboard. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. The third question, guys. What kinds of programming types does Kotlin support? Again, something that was discussed yesterday. Okay, 64% people says both A and B. What do you guys think? What is the correct answer? Can I get some answers in the chat? Do you think both A and B are correct? Okay, let's see what is the correct answer. So yeah, both A and B is the correct answer. We learned yesterday that Kotlin is both object-oriented and procedural. So yeah, this is the correct answer. Let's move forward. And Varsha is on the top. Congratulations, Varsha. We have Shriram, Arun, Ujjwal, and Dharun. Some common names. Okay, let's move forward. In which year at Google I/O annual conference, Kotlin announced as an official language for Android development? 2011, 16, 17, and 15. Okay, close. So 38% of you are saying that it's 2017. Let's look at the correct answer. Yes, it's correct, absolutely. So let's look at the leaderboard now. Okay, we have Shriram at the top, and then we have Ujjwal Raj. We have Mohit, Dharun, and Avinash. Ujjwal Raj, if I'm not wrong, you're from my college. Let me know if you are, because I'll be more than happy to give out the swags to you if you win today's game. Let's move forward to the next question. What does IDE stand for? We keep using it all the time. Let me know how many of you know the full form. All right, majority voting. So 80% of you say that it's integrated development environment. So let's see the correct answer. And that's absolutely correct. So let's move forward and look at the leaderboard. Okay, Ujjwal is on the top. Really amazing. And then we have Sriram, Dharun, Mohit, and Sandesh. Cool, guys. Keep maintaining your positions. Let's see. Okay, which type of programming language is Kotlin? Statically typed, dynamically typed, both A and B, or none of these? Five seconds to go. Okay, again, we have both A and B as the almost majority voting. So let's see. Well, majority does not win always. The answer is statically typed. So, okay, no problem. Let's move forward and see. Dharun is leading. Then we have Mohit, Avinash, Ujjwal, and Sriram. Congratulations, all of you. Let's move forward. What is the difference between val and var in Kotlin? This was discussed yesterday as well as today. Make sure you read the options properly. Okay, let's see the correct answer. Yeah, so the majority this time is winning. So let's see the leaderboard now. Okay, Dharun is maintaining his position. I hope you are he. I am not sure, but I'm assuming if you are he, then you are maintaining your position. Then we have Mohit, Avinash, Sriram, Ujjwal. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. The function to print a line in Kotlin is, again, something that was already discussed. We don't have a lot of time. I think this was one of the easiest questions, but okay, let's see. Yeah, correct. So 60% of you have answered it correctly, but 28% of you still know. Okay, so it's not just println, it's both A and B. I mean, I hope that makes it clear. So the first position is being, okay, Mohit is on the first position, and I think the leaderboard changed. It was Dharun on the top, if I'm not wrong. So it's okay, Dharun, you still have time to come up, and congratulations, Mohit, for coming up. We have Avinash, Ujjwal, Sriram. Let's move forward. What is the correct way to declare a variable of integer type in Kotlin? Make sure you read the options clearly. Okay, let's look at the correct answer. 43% of you have answered correctly, so that's a good thing. Let's move forward and see the leaderboard. Did the leaderboard not change much? We have Mohit, Ujjwal, Dharun, Avinash, and Sriram. Cool. Okay, which is a valid function declaration in Kotlin? Again, make sure you read the options carefully. But still, this is an easy one. Okay, time up. Okay, yeah. Majority is saying option B, and that's the correct one. So good going, guys. Okay, slight change, I guess, on the leaderboard. Mohit was on the top. Then we have Ujjwal, Dharun, Avinash, and Shri. So Shri is a new person to come up, I guess. We had Shri Ram, but now we have Shri. Nice. Okay, what is the purpose of using a virtual device or emulator in Android Studio? We already have 31 answers, 34, 37. Okay, that is a good majority voting for something. And let's see, okay. That is the correct option, guys. We test our device, we test our app on a device without really having our physical device. So it's like a virtual physical device you have on your computers. So let's see the leaderboard now. Okay, Mohit, Ujjwal, Dharun, Avinash, and Shri. I think the leaderboard hardly changed. It is the same. The 12th question, which function in Kotlin is similar to switch function of Java? Again, something that was just implemented. That is my hint. It was just implemented by Vigneshwaran. I remember where he implemented it. Okay. So let's see. Okay. When is the correct answer? And 53% of you have answered it. Cool. Mohit, Ujjwal, Dharun, Shri, and Siddharth. We have a new person on the leaderboard. So Siddharth, congratulations for coming up. Keep giving correct answers. You might be on the top 3 as well. Next question. We are on the 13th question. Which one of the following looping functions execute the code block at least once before checking the truth condition? This is, I think, a common concept. It's not even related to Kotlin. Cool. I am proud of this audience. And that's the correct answer. So let's look at the leaderboard. We have Mohit, Ujjwal, Dharun, Shri, and Siddharth again. Okay, I want others to come up as well. So try to answer the questions quickly and correctly, guys. And okay, let's move forward to the 14th one. Android app bundle ensures dash static delivery, dynamic delivery, both or none. "37 people, 38 have already answered. Okay, let's look at the correct answer. The answer is dynamic delivery. And yeah, for your information, maybe. Okay, we have a new person. So someone listen to me very nicely. Mohit, Ujjwal, Dharun, Harish is the new person here. And this control doesn't let me see the 5th person. We have Arun again. All right. So we have new people on the leaderboard. Let's move forward. The 15th question. What does .aab stand for? Basically, you need to answer AAB. This was also discussed. Okay. Yeah, that's the correct answer. This is a real majority that we say. It's a 92% voting for the correct answer, and that means you guys were listening. Okay, let's move forward and look at the leaderboard. We have Mohit, Ujjwal, Dharun, Harish, and Arun again. So yeah, great going, guys. Let's move forward. On the 16th question, which of the following is or are Android application packages? APK, AAB, both A and B, or EXE only? Okay, let's look at the correct answer. Okay, that's the correct answer, guys. 63% of you voted correctly, and that's a really good thing. Let's move forward and look at the leaderboard. So we have Mohit, Ujjwal, Harish. I think these guys are going to win today, but let's see. Shri and Dharun, we have you guys as well. So Dharun, yeah, Dharun was already there. Cool. Let's move forward. What makes AAB files better than APKs? So if you guys listened yesterday, then this must be making sense to you. Okay, 62% of you believe that all of these are the reasons that makes AAB files better than APK. Let's see. So that's the correct answer. Let's move forward. Okay, we have Mohit, Ujjwal, Shri, Harish, and Arun. And a few of you dropped off from the leaderboard, but no worries, we have one more question. So which of the following is or are the best, the apps built using Kotlin? Pinterest, Coursera, Uber, all of the above. 23, 29 people have already answered. You guys are really quick. Okay, I think this is the correct answer. Yeah, this is. So let's look at the leaderboard now. Congratulations, Mohit. You kept leading the leaderboard. So that's really, really a good thing. And then we have Ujjwal, we have Shri, Harish, and Arun. Congratulations, all of you. And yeah, you'll be getting out all those swags that were promised. So congratulations, each of you.
Congratulations, participants. It's really great. It's not just about the winners, it's also about the participants. It's equally great to participate as well as equally great to win. So your participation is also equal to winning this event. So congratulations to everyone, all the participants.
Yeah. Mohit almost got everything correct. And congrats again, Mohit. Would you mind introducing yourself, Mohit?
Yeah, that would be
Which
nice.
campus are you from?
Mohit, is it Mohit S in the Zoom meeting? Can you just raise your hand in the Zoom meeting? Mohit. The Zoom.
I think 40 people joined the
We will
quiz.
send you a Google form regarding this. So keep checking your chat. I will send a Google form regarding this. So I will send it in a few minutes. So I guess Ravish, I guess you can chat.
Sorry?
I guess you can take over. So I'll just create a form and I'll send.
Okay, sure. And who is Ujjwal, if I get to know? I think I should stop sharing. I can't.
I think Ravisha's she has some network issue.
Bad or like her voice is like that.
Yeah, it's her internet issue, I think.
Okay.
So I guess the break is over. Sadika, can we start this session?
Yes.
Sir, I guess you can start the session, sir.
Yeah, sure. Just a minute. Yeah, sure. So congratulations, Mohit. This is like that was great. Like I thought you guys like have very basic understanding about Android, but you guys have decent amount of knowledge in Android, so I could pace this session much faster. And I think this most I know everyone got wrong is this why Kotlin is like, everybody understood why it is like statically typed as well as dynamically typed. I as I said earlier, like you compare with Python or JavaScript and Python are dynamically typed. Dynamically typed in the sense like you put a variable, whether it's string or number or anything, is decided during runtime. But in Kotlin, it has to be decided before compilation itself, during compilation itself. Why? Because it runs on JVM. JVM enforces it. Whatever Java has similar things statically typed the same way Kotlin also. So I hope like in future, if someone asks you, you should say like Kotlin is statically typed, shouldn't say it's dynamically typed. And cool. And for this next one, we are going to build a UI like this. With this one, and with this one, we will end of today. And I think in a matter of time, like it's already 7:42 now. Like I will take like 20 minutes of your time. With that, I will explain for this one. Let's not waste time in dragging and dropping and all. Let's download this project from GitHub and start explaining the code. So if you have Git, you can just go to a folder and clone this URL, or if you do not have Git, no problem, just download the zip and extract it. Right. Once you extract it, go to Android Studio and file, open, go to the place where you have extracted it. This is Kotlin. What is it? App solution mean. I think this is the one. No, this is dice roller. Still dice roller. Okay, I think is it dice roller then? Downloads. It's not dice roller, it's directly there. So created. This is the, you open and you click this window, it will open that app here itself and it starts downloading its dependencies. Again, it will take some time for download and settle with all the dependencies. If it has a Gradle download, it downloads it. So in the meantime, right, what we are going to build here is like a UI where we are going to have a edit text. What is edit text? It takes input from you guys. I mean, input from a user and holds it. And you have a text view. Text view is like where we show hello world, right? The same text view, we are going to show this text. And we have this section called radio button. So radio button is like you have user can select any one of them at a time, and you have three options. User can select any one, and you have something called switch. And the switch is like you can enable it, disable it. That is the switch. And you have a button called calculate, and you have another text view which will show the amount. So the total layout views.
Vigneshwaran, sorry to interrupt you, but do you want to share your screen?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, sorry. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is.
Oh, sorry for that. I will give this link here so that you guys can download this project also. I posted this in the chat, and this one I've downloaded it and imported this in Android Studio. For importing, you just need to go there and open, and wherever you've downloaded, just click on it and open it. That's it. And after that, it starts building it. And here we are going to build this UI where we'll have like edit text 1 and a text view 2, and have a radio group where user can select anyone 3, and another switch 4, and another a button 5, and another text view 6. So these 6 layouts we are going to build. So with the time constraint, I am going to build it. I'm going to download already built project and go through a code along with you guys. So once you have downloaded it, you run the app and see what the UI looks like. Right. In this Android Studio, right, you will see something called Gradle scripts. This is where you will define all your dependencies. So this app depends on these many dependencies, where it has something called material design. What is material design? It is a design constraint given by Google for universal apps to follow. So you go here and you see components. You'll see that app button should be like this, and app bar should display like this, and what is the spacing it should have, what is the text click buttons, what are the features it should have, everything will be there. This is Google recommended, but Google is not enforcing anyone. But if you use this, we can create an aesthetics across all devices, all phones, so that people will not have that misjudgment to not to go to click wrong buttons and all. This is for UI UX experience. If you would have used some of the apps in Android, all follow this structure. So, but to develop like this, right, you need a components with the spacing, with this color, with this button ripple effect, with this animation, right? Google already developed some of the components for you and placed it in the dependency. That is called material design. So when you use a edit text by default, it will not look like this. It will look different, which is allows you guys to use it and modify it. But if you want to use material design, you can simply add this dependency and start using the material design components, which will have by default, will have this padding and spacing between them, animation, everything included in it. Right. And when we talk about layouts, right, we have something called constraint layout. You go to any XML files, right? Where you see XML is resource layout. You see, you will see something called view constraint layout here. What is constraint layout? It's a view group. And what is image view? It's a view. So what Android structured it, right? You have a view group. Inside the view group, all the views will reside. So there are so many view groups, constraint layout, linear layout, and you have frame layout, and you have like what to say, you have relative layout, and lots of layouts available. But majority apps use constraint layouts because it's a flat hierarchy. You can search like what is flat hierarchy later, but it consumes less memory. That's what you can know it for now. And inside the constraint layout, you will see something called, if you go to activity main and run the app first, let me run it in Emulator. When you run it in Emulator, right, you will see this UI. It's already been built, and you will see this UI is created based out of this XML file. And you see the core design also looks similar to this, right? Same. So we'll inspect one by one component first. So the first one is text input layout. Let's put a split and we'll see it. You see the first one is text input at layout. It is simply an edit text. So by default, when you create a text view, it can be an edit text alone. Edit text is one of the view. But if you want to use material design, you can use text input edit text and wrapped with text input layout. Why we have to do it is because for this, when you tap on it, you will see the hint, whatever we have added earlier will go. Sorry, where is that? Tip time. The hint which we have added earlier will go upwards and the text will ask for typing. So this animation and the spacing, everything is created inside this material design. So we are using text input edit text and wrap it with text input layout. Now this element, the next element is text view, simply just says how was the service. And you see something weird here. It is something called add string, and it was accessed from here. And you click command here and go inside, you will see it is hosted, it is placed somewhere else, some other file, right? If you want to know where this file is located in Android Studio, you click this button, this dot icon. You tap on it, you'll see the under values, you'll see something called strings XML. Inside, all these strings are added here. All the labels, text files that you used in the app are placed here. Why? Because you can create multiple strings for your app. You can simply select a string of different language and you can add it. So Android dynamically runs the strings based on the user selected language. Say the user is based out of France and he selected the device language as French, and you have created separate strings file with French. You could add all the strings file for that and map it with correct. You need to create with the same name in the French file also and add the French text instead of it. So Android will automatically pick the French strings XML and use it. So that is the reason you need to extract all the strings from XML layout file and add it separately. So they have added separately, accessing this key name. And you go inside, you will see the second element, this radio group, right? This radio group contains 3 radio buttons and wrapped around radio group. So you will access this, what is the value the user have selected from the radio group. So you take tip underscore option and access it, and you take the values and what's the user have selected. And this is a switch, and this is a material switch. As I said, it will have like a separate spacing and animation compared to normal switch. And here the text roundup tip is added in strings. That is what displayed here. And you have a button and you have a text view again. So this is the layout here. And when you run the app, you would have seen you enter some value and you select this value and calculate the tip. That tip is calculated accordingly, right? How it is calculating. Now you design the layout, but what you have to do, you have to take the value from this edit text and take the value from this radio button as 18%. From 5454, you have to multiply with this percentage, and whether this button is selected or not, you have to identify. And if you want to round it up, then you should show the amount, right? That logic, how it is written, is what we are going to see next. Okay, so where this logic would have been written, you guys have any idea, right? XML is meant for designing the layout, and accessing the values from the XML and writing the logic resides in your activity, right? You open the activity, you will see all the logic. We'll go each function one by one. And here you see something weird, different one, what we have done earlier. This is called binding. What is this, right? you see binding.calculate button, you put control over it and click on it, right? It directly goes to the layout. But previously we access the views from the XML through something called function, right? Find view by ID. But here it is used binding, because find view by ID also we can use, but it's like so much cumbersome, right? In order to reduce our work and reduce in typical project, right? In like very big projects where so many people working, like 20 people will be working on one Android app. What happens is, right, you will not know what ID the other person is created. If you use like find view by ID, there is a possibility someone else also created ID like calculate button, right? But if you have multiple IDs like calculate button in multiple layout files, it will ask for suggestion like which one to use. If you are wrongly use some other button from different layout, you would have your view will not be generated that time, and it will throw crash. So to avoid all this confusion, Android came up with something called view binding. So you go to your build.gradle file here. In module 1, you will see something called build features view binding equals true. Yeah, you have to put this code here under Android, so that what will happen, what this Android Studio does is, whenever you create a layout file, right, under any file you create under layout, it will generate a class called activity main binding. You go inside this, it will redirect to this one, but ideally this class will have all the objects that is created with whatever view XML that you have created. So that what will happen with this binding object, you can access all the views inside it, right? So you have created this object, but there is something called late in it. This keyword is very important in Kotlin, because without late in it, what happens? So you are declaring a variable called binding, and this class is already there, but you have declared this class, but you have not initialized it. How do I initialize it? I will initialize it only when on create is getting called. But this class main activity will get initialized, and this object will be initialized when the class is getting created. So this class requires, by default, Kotlin requires all the class to be instantiated in constructor or when the class is getting created, right? But you will not have that object during that time. But so in order to solve that, what Kotlin has something called late in it. When you put late in it, it will not ask you to initialize it when the class is getting created, but instead you have to initialize it wherever you want. I mean, later point of time. That's the idea. So once you have created this class with inflating this with layout inflator, you will get the object, and that root you have to put it in set content view. Previously we have put set content view with the layout directly, but here we are inflating it with the object. That's a difference. Remaining all the same concept. You have to call set content view to set the view to this particular activity, right? Now you have like in this UI, you have like two buttons, right? Calculate button and cost of service edit text on key listener, right? This on key listener is like whenever you type something, this key listener will listen to it with each key code, and it just launches the keyboard for you. That is the on key listener purpose. And you go inside this function and see it just make sure that the window opened is number keyboard, and only the key code is entered. Other than like you type something else, it will not enter it inside it. That's the logic. You can do it with much easier way. You go to XML and make sure like this edit text is type of number decimal, and that's how you launch like keyboard with number value instead of alphabetical keyboard. And you see a calculate button. When you identify the calculate button, click on it, and you call something called calculate tip. Set on click listener, we have already seen it, right? The same one. On click listener, we are calling a function called calculate tip, and you go inside this function. See, it's a private function, and inside that, what ideally they are doing is, as we said, when user clicks on calculate button, what needs to happen? The first thing is what value the user has typed that we have to take. How do we take it? It's a edit text, right? Binding dot cost of service. You go inside it and see it's this particular edit text. Binding dot cost of and text dot toString will give the text what is written there, and you have to convert that to double. So you can calculate the tip value from it. You cannot keep it as string and calculate the values, right? So you have to convert that to double, and you have to type check it, whether it is null or whether it is 0.0, right? If it is null or 0.0, then return it and do not show anything. Else the code runs further, where you see finally you are taking the tip option. The tip option is this, where the values that is getting selected from the radio button, radio group. This radio group will return which value selected as ID, right? So you have like three IDs. So if it is like 20%, or if it is like 18%, or if it is not anyone, obviously it will be the third one. So it will be like 0.15%. So we are using when statement to identify which radio button is selected with the ID. This ID is like, we have created this here, right? We created 3 radio buttons here with the ID like option 20, option 18, and option 15. So we've taken like which value the user have selected. First, we have taken the text field, and now we have taken the percentage, and we have to multiply it and calculate the tip. Now, if user is selected switch, and switch is like 2 values, right? Boolean value, obviously. So it returns public boolean checked, whether it has like true or false. So based on the true or false, we can use Kotlin inbuilt function .math.ceil to round it. Now the value is rounded, and the rounded value we are going to put it in display tip. And display tip, what it does, the value is double, and we have to format it based on currency number format or currency instance. What this function does, based on locale, I mean your device is based out of India, or your device is based out on US, based on the device locale. Locale is like where your device is created, what locale that you have set in your settings. Based on locale, it converts a currency format to that. From India have something called 1000 formats, right? Wherein 1000 and lakhs, wherein US have hundreds and hundreds, it goes like that in millions. So that conversion happens here with this one, and it formats it and displays it like this. We are taking the string from string. So now you've seen in XML, to access the strings, we use add string, right? But here in code, we have, if you want to access, we have to call a function called get string and pass the string ID. You go inside, you will see string ID, and you see something called %s. What this %s is, %s means we are dynamically replacing the value in the through runtime. So in the runtime, whatever value that is coming, we are if you put comma and add it to the get string, it will replace, if there is any %s in there, it will replace with that string. And we are adding that to the tip result text. Tip result.text equals get string. We assign it to it. You see what is tip result, right? Tip result is this one. We are assigning that to it, and it will display the text. So that's the idea around it. And I think this is it. Like today's session, we will conclude with it. Like I thought, like we will reach up until recycler view, but I feel like it will be like too much if we want. Maybe for tomorrow we'll start with recycler view, or we can jump with navigation, whichever is comfortable, you guys. you can tell me. And before that, like I want this question from you guys, like this one quick poll. Question 3. I just want to know like one quick query. Please join the Slido and answer this, like which technology you guys want to study in future, like based on your thing, right? And you guys are studying college. I just want to know that because I want to know the interesting stuff. So join the Slido 804778 and I want you guys to answer this. Interesting. I thought most of you guys will select artificial intelligence. It came again, artificial intelligence. Okay. Okay, cool. That's it. Like, but I just want to know, like, just post it in chat or something. Like tomorrow, what do you guys want to build? So maybe like, do you guys want to build a scrollable list like this? We will do live coding, or you want me to take a GitHub project and explain navigation graph and view model, live data and stuff. Which one you guys want me to explain tomorrow? I think scrollable list and navigation, view model, view model and live data along with navigation. Which one you guys want me to explain? You can tell me. Based on that, we will approach tomorrow. I think scrollable list is better. People are posting there. Then I think tomorrow we will, I thought of skipping scrollable list and moving towards navigation and view model. But since some of you guys want scrollable list, we will build scrollable list with recycler view. We can build something like contact subs or something, because recycler view is one of the good concept. It is very, very important, where if you want to be a mobile app developer, you want to know what is recycler view. And then we'll move on. And if we have time, then we look into view model. Before that, we'll check navigation graph alone until tomorrow. Sure. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'll end here. Like, you guys have any questions? Yeah. Any questions? Like, can we develop Android app using Python? No. Why? Because Python runs in different virtual machine, and all your Android apps and APIs runs on Dalvik virtual machine. So Dalvik virtual machine is something similar to JVM. So any programming language which runs on JVM, that alone we can able to develop it. That, or your Kotlin code converts that to Kotlin bytecode, and that gets shipped and packed as APK or AAP and shipped to your Android devices, right? And in your devices, you have another JVM which runs, and each app runs on a separate process. So your each device phones like Linux kernel or Android, I said about AOSP, right? They do not understand your Python bytecode, so you cannot develop it with Python. Tinker module will help. Okay, what is this Tinker module? I never heard of it. Is it like hybrid? Is it like converting Python code to again JVM components or bytecode components? I think it's just a simple tool which helps, but with Python, you cannot directly access any of your Bluetooth or hardware APIs. You need to, if someone say something like React.js, right? With JavaScript, you can develop Android apps. How are we doing it? Because JavaScript have created a JVM bridge. Through bridge, we are accessing Java APIs and building it, right? That is like React Native. React Native is like React.js. We can build Android apps. Something similar to that what this Twinkr module would have done, but you are ideally depending on someone else to build your bridge connection, right? That person will not keep on supporting you, right? Unlike React Native or Flutter. What's the other question? Alien dice roll app where we use number condition, we don't get to specify else as number is going to be between -1. Yeah, number is going to be -1, but when condition does not allow you to have without else condition, right? You can have when condition without else only if in the condition like I'll show you the code. Open recent, right? You can have something like this. You remove this val assignment here. You don't need else. You can have something like you put a brace here, and you say image ID and assign it, right? Image. If you do that, you don't need else. But this is like lots of code, unnecessary assignment, right? So we have to do something like this where it already assigns value to your function. When here does not access a switch statement alone, it accesses an expression. When here before assigning value to this image ID, this particular expression gets executed and all the values, corresponding value gets assigned. So it will not allow you without else statement. So that is why we are putting else and conditionally checking it. That answers your question. And the other one, link of day 1 and day 2 videos for reference. If you have done it, okay, that you can ask to Mukund, I think. Okay, thank you. Can we create this application without PC? Without PC, I think you are asking to develop it in mobile, is it? No, I don't think it's not possible. Why it is not possible? You can write your code, run it in terminal, any terminal with an ADB install. So when you downloaded Android Studio, right, you would have already downloaded platform tools, build tools, and ADB. So when you run the app, right, and you go to build and build APK or build bundle, right, what it does, it runs this code, right? You see, if you go here, it runs the Gradle. Gradle have lots of scripts inside it. It tries to run all the scripts, compiles your Java code. You have like, you have used r.drawable. It matches with the resources. It converts all there is something called desugaring, because your UI should be more readable. Your code should be more readable, but your bytecode shouldn't be. So there is like desugaring happens. So these your manifest gets merged. Lots of things happens which is not possible without Gradle. So Gradle is your build tool. Gradle is your dependency manager. It accesses both here. So if you want to run without PC, your Android devices does not support Gradle. Without Gradle, you cannot run it. Can you check your DS? Okay. So we can use else drawable image 6, right, sir? Yeah, we can do that also, but that would be wrong. So any number other than 10, if 10 comes and you use 6, does not make any sense, but that also we can do if you want. Okay, anything else? Okay, cool. So I hope like I want you guys like before tomorrow's session, I want you guys to build something like this on your own. I think I've shared you the code, right? Maybe I want you guys to build something like this. You create a view, you create one activity. In one activity you put a icon here and a text here and another text here. I want you guys to build it just only one thing. You don't have to build this entire list. With this one thing we can see how we can build a recycler view with the scrollable list and how recycler view works. That is the main concept that will be asked in any interview you go in and related to Android. So I want you guys to have an icon here with the spacing of 8 dp. 8 dp. What is this? dp is a display points. That is how you separate views. So you go to manifest or activity main and you go to design. You see here 249 dp, 199 dp. dp is the distance display point. It is 199 dp here. And if it goes to tablet, it multiplies with the scaling factor. Tablet have larger pixels, right? So 199 into tablet scaling factor. And if it's a small device, 199 into that device scaling factor. So you have to here you have to do it like icon with 8 dp and here 8 dp. After that, one title text and one another text. I think you can just Google around and see how what view group you have to put. Obviously you will be putting like image view and text view here that I've already showed you today. But what view group should be put on to have like one text, one image here and one text here and another text here. And yeah, just Google it and do this one particular view alone in one activity. Hope this session was useful. Thank you, guys. Okay.
Yeah, so yes, please go on.
Anything else like before ending?
Thank you so much, sir, for this session. It was really interesting to learn the basics of Kotlin and how it works. So thank you so much for that virtual session, sir.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much, sir. I actually loved the session and I hope everyone else made something out of it. I liked how you wanted to know what the participants wanted and you wanted to know their prior experience, etc. And I'm gladly looking forward for tomorrow's session. If anyone has more doubts, please post it in your chat or unmute. And yeah,
if you have any installation doubts too, like you can ask.
Yeah, and try to follow the instructions, like try to apply the knowledge you got today.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. Then see you tomorrow. See you
I
guys.
guess that's it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Other than the Zoom meeting, yeah, I'll tell you tomorrow. Like tomorrow, I'll tell you where we can connect and you can ask me any questions after the Zoom also. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll meet tomorrow again if there are no doubts.
Bye bye. Looking forward to meet you guys tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.